Imagine waking up on a cruise ship and your daughter is gone. No splash, no sign of a struggle, just gone. In 1998, Amy Lynn Bradley vanished from the Rhapsody of the Seas, and what happened next still haunts investigators. Amy Lynn Bradley was a 23-year-old American from Virginia when she vanished on March 24, 1998. A Longwood University graduate and former collegiate basketball player, Amy was known to be athletic. She had worked as a lifeguard and was an excellent swimmer. She had just earned a degree in sports psychology and was poised to start a promising new job back home. Amy and her family, parents Ron and Iva Bradley and her brother Brad, were enjoying a spring break Caribbean cruise aboard Royal Caribbean's Rhapsody of the Seas when the unthinkable happened. The Bradleys' vacation began uneventfully. After a port stop in Aruba, the family attended dinner and later a nightclub on the ship's top deck. Amy and her brother Brad danced with the ship's band, Blue Orchid, before returning to their cabin late that night. The ship's keycard system recorded Amy returning to the family cabin at about 3:40 a.m. on March 24th. Her father Ron awoke around 5:15 to 5:30 a.m. to find Amy asleep on a lounge chair outside the cabin on deck. He let her sleep and dozed back off, closing the balcony door behind him. When Ron checked again around 6 a.m., the balcony door was slightly ajar, and Amy was nowhere in sight. The family immediately realized something was terribly wrong. Amy's cabin was undisturbed. Her shoes and lighter remained behind, and she had only taken her cigarettes with her. This contradicted her habits. Amy was meticulous about letting her parents know where she would be, and the family insisted she would never simply wander off without a word. The Rhapsody of the Seas was still en route to Curaçao, but when the search began, it was clear Amy had vanished without a trace on board the ship. As soon as Amy was reported missing, her family pleaded with crew members to halt disembarkation, fearing she might have been abducted. The captain ordered only an internal search initially, a ship-wide announcement. "Will Amy Bradley please come to the purser's desk?" Was not made until after most passengers had already left the ship in Curaçao. When nothing was found, authorities launched a formal search. The Netherlands Antilles Coast Guard scoured the surrounding waters and ports for 4 days, but found no sign of Amy. Royal Caribbean's own search teams also came up empty as the ship continued its itinerary to St. Martin, St. Thomas, and back to Puerto Rico. 2 days after the disappearance, March 26th, FBI agents boarded Rhapsody of the Seas in St. Martin and interviewed the Bradleys, crew, and selected passengers. Among those questioned was Wayne Breitag, the solo passenger who occupied the cabin next door and had conversed with Amy through the adjoining balcony wall. Bradley's family later learned the partition between balconies could be opened. They have speculated someone might have crossed through Breitag's cabin, though he denies any involvement. The FBI also interviewed Alistair "Yellow" Douglas, the bass guitarist Amy had danced with the night before. Douglas described parting from Amy at about 1 a.m. when his duties required him to leave the passenger area. But on the morning of March 24th, he sought out Amy's brother Brad to offer condolences before anyone even knew she was missing. Now, before we continue, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. If you love crime stories, especially those that are unsolved, then this is the channel for you. We keep you up to date on the latest news in the world of true crime, including updates on famous ongoing cases like this one. Two fellow passengers later told investigators they saw Amy and Douglas enter an elevator together between 5 and 6 a.m. and saw Douglas exit alone 15 minutes later. Douglas agreed to a polygraph test, which proved inconclusive. The FBI has never charged him or anyone else, and acknowledges it could not establish a definitive timeline of those final hours. Throughout the investigation, no security camera on the ship recorded Amy leaving the cabin, and there were no eyewitness accounts of her falling overboard. The family later noted that neither a cruise staff member nor any passenger reported seeing Amy on a deck or in the pool that night. The cruise's captain admitted that, to avoid panic, he initially refused to make any announcements and allowed the ship to continue its schedule. In 1999, the Bradleys sued Royal Caribbean for negligence and defamation, but the case was dismissed. Over the years, investigators and amateur sleuths have proposed several theories about Amy's fate. One idea is accidental overboard. Perhaps Amy fell from the balcony or slipped while on deck. However, this seems unlikely to her family. Amy was a skilled swimmer and lifeguard who loved the water, but she left no evidence of a fall and took only her cigarettes when she disappeared. The family never believed she would jump or intentionally go overboard. Amy had just moved into a new apartment and adopted a dog, and was about to start a new job. Others suspect foul play on board. Some point to Alistair "Yellow" Douglas's behavior as suspicious. He was seen with Amy in the hours before her disappearance, and later behaved oddly. FBI interviews with Douglas and other crew found nothing concrete, but the circumstances remain unexplained. Another crew member or passenger theory is the ship's pianist, Blue Orchid band member, or even Wayne Breitag, the neighbor. To date, none have been publicly implicated. A more sinister theory is human trafficking or abduction. The Rhapsody of the Seas made multiple port calls: Aruba, Curaçao, St. Martin, St. Thomas, that night, raising the possibility Amy was lured off the ship. In the years since, several alleged sightings, detailed below, have fueled this idea. A family member of Amy's has noted that the cruise crew at the time assumed she had fallen overboard. But Amy's parents maintain they begged the crew to keep people from leaving in Curaçao because, if Amy had left the room for more than 15 minutes, she would have left us a note. This insistence suggests they believe she was abducted or held against her will. Key theories include accident or suicide. Authorities initially considered that Amy might have accidentally fallen from the balcony or committed suicide. Both the family and later documentaries reject these ideas, noting Amy's positive future plans and the lack of any physical evidence of a fall. Foul play. Amy may have been attacked on the ship by a passenger or crew member. The only person publicly questioned in this scenario was band member Douglas. He denied involvement, and the FBI never found proof against him. Human trafficking. Perhaps most discussed is the possibility Amy was kidnapped during a port stop. Theories suggest she could have been lured off the ship and into a trafficking ring. This is supported by reported sightings years later in the Caribbean and by the discovery of risque photos on a Venezuelan escort website, 2002 to 2008, of a woman resembling Amy. Netflix's Amy Bradley is Missing also highlights a chilling claim. A witness told authorities she heard a young woman cry, "Señorita, kidnap," as Amy and Douglas moved out of sight. Despite exhaustive searches, Amy has never been found. Over time, several people have claimed to spot her, though none of these leads were confirmed. For example, 2 days after the disappearance, a local taxi driver in Curaçao told Ron and Brad Bradley that he had seen a frantic woman fitting Amy's description, searching for a phone in Willemstad as the ship docked. Brad even thought he heard Amy call his name from a passing van that day. In August 1998, a Canadian scuba diver named David Carmichael said he spotted Amy on a Curaçao beach. He recalled seeing her flanked by 2 men and trying to approach him before those men dragged her into a nearby restaurant. Carmichael noted Amy's distinctive tattoos, and he was adamant it was her. Police searched, but found nothing. In January 1999, a U.S. Navy petty officer later reported encountering a distressed woman in a Curaçao brothel who identified herself as Amy Bradley and begged for help. Again, nothing came of the tip. More recently, interest in the case has brought forward additional witnesses. In the Netflix documentary and follow-up interviews, a tourist named Judy Moorer said she saw a girl matching Amy's description in a Barbados restroom in 1998, only to have 3 men usher the girl away. Another witness, David Carmichael, described his encounter in Curaçao. Unofficially, risque photos posted on a Venezuelan escort service site, 2002 to 2008, appeared to show a woman who looked like Amy. And most astonishingly, Amy's brother Brad told Fox News that a new witness, Elizabeth, testified she saw Amy with Douglas in a ship lounge, heard Douglas slip her a drink, and then heard a young woman shout, "Señorita, kidnap," as Amy was taken away out of sight. The Bradleys are still trying to locate this witness for more information. Each of these accounts has been investigated, but none have yielded concrete answers. The FBI reviewed the tips and photos, but could not verify any. As one special agent noted, even with sightings, they couldn't establish a reliable timeline for Amy's disappearance. To this day, the only solid facts remain the minutes of March 24, 1998, before Amy was seen again. For decades, the Bradleys refused to give up hope. They kept Amy's car and belongings exactly as they were, continued searching each summer, and eventually embraced the internet, creating a website to collect tips and crowdfunding a private search team. Their persistence paid off with renewed attention in 2025. Netflix released a 3-part documentary, Amy Bradley is Missing, which reached millions of viewers and generated new tips for investigators. Around the same time, YouTube host Ethan Klein announced he would contribute a $1 million reward for information leading to Amy's safe return. The FBI still officially offers $25,000 for tips, and the family had previously offered $250,000 for information. Publications like People and Fox News have kept the story in the headlines, revealing fresh details from the documentary and interviews. For instance, People reports that the Bradleys now believe Amy may still be alive overseas, possibly even with children being used as leverage to keep her from escaping. The FBI's Kent, Virginia office lists Amy as still missing, and her case remains unsolved. Today, Amy's story remains an enigma on the open ocean. No trace of her has ever been found, and theories from every corner of speculation filled the void. Her family and authorities continue to follow every credible lead. Anyone with information, no matter how small, about Amy's fate is urged to contact the FBI or submit a tip through the Bradley family's missing persons website. After more than 25 years, the question of what happened to Amy Lynn Bradley still hangs in the salty Caribbean air. Only a break in the case can finally bring her family the answers and closure they desperately seek. So what do you think happened that night? Did Amy fall into the sea by accident, or was there foul play involved? Do you have any clue about this case? Let us know below. Someone out there might hold the missing piece of this agonizing puzzle. This is Unsolved Plus. Together, we can help bring Amy Lynn Bradley home.